Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're an old friend, then welcome back. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. So today, I am going to do a full moon read for this pink full moon in Libra that we have coming up on, I think it's the 12th, which would be Saturday, but I've also, when I went online looking, it says something about the 13th as well, so either way, right around that time. In fact, let me just look it up real quick. All right, full moon, Libra, pink moon. Oh. Yeah, it still varies. Some places say it's the 13th, some say it's the 12th. I guess it depends on your time zone. Okay, so anyways, yeah, we're going to pull on the full moon energy and see what it is that we need to know about this pink moon in Libra. It does seem like there is a bit of a culmination going on here, maybe some sort of point of resolution, which technically, what do they say? Spring right now is actually the beginning of the year. Okay, like the rebirth, the renewal. After winter, the death. As is also recognized in the tradition of, Easter, right? The resurrection of life after death. So, we're going to start our full moon reading with our Moonology deck, which we don't pull out very often. We also have some other OG heavy hitter decks here, okay, that we might use in this reading, okay, because this is a big energy. We have pulled out the big guns. Let's see. Spirit, what do we need to know about this pink full moon in Libra? Now, I would like to point out that personally, I feel like the 13th is like the best day for this particular pink moon because the number 13 is representative of death, and we are talking a lot about the death and renewal and rebirth here, right? Okay, a fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. Okay, so like I said, it is a bit of like a culmination. Like everything is coming to a head. So that endings can bring new beginnings, kind of feel. A win-win outcome is forecast. Full moon in Libra. Well, doesn't get more literal than that, does it? Full moon in Libra, a win-win outcome is forecast. So whatever you've been dealing with, right? Possibly legally, all right? Could be spiritual law related, or any situation, okay? Whether it's, you had an argument with your sibling, or you've taken your spouse to court for divorce or custody, or or you're dealing with some other sort of court-related problem. Maybe you're suing someone or someone's suing you, okay? Maybe you have, an issue at work, or, whatever the case may be, all right? There is a win-win outcome forecast here. So it's like, I always say, a win-win outcome, basically everybody walks away a little disappointed, right? Nobody gets exactly what they wanted going in, but you pretty much get what's fair, or at least, walk away feeling like you didn't lose. Again, conclusions are within reach, full moon and eclipse, right? So this is also, okay, I want to point out, around this time last year, we were looking at that major eclipse, right? That was also on the trajectory of those series of eclipses where it kind of made an X, right? We had an X out over certain areas of the United States that happened to be like something about Salem and Nineveh. I remember that. So I feel like this may have been the beginning, right? If you were doing your full moon energy work at that point in time, a year ago, then I feel like the conclusion is being reached now, okay? With this full moon now, especially because we just came out of last month's solar and lunar eclipses in the same month, okay? So something is being eclipsed out, something is being brought to a close and removed, okay? So you are not going to have to deal with this person, this issue, this demon, this entity any longer, whatever the case may be for you. And here we go again. A new start is coming, new moon, okay? So it's like this full moon is bringing a death, eclipse, okay? It's bringing an end, and then the new beginning, right? Okay, that's very interesting. I'm so glad that I brought that deck out for this reading. All right, I'm going to pull some of these cards and see what message Spirit has for us. Do you have any messages for us from this deck? Just yes. Trust your intuition. Yes. So, it's kind of like say yes, or a yes is coming. Or if you're looking for a yes, then you might get it, right? Okay. Guilty. Don't let guilt get in the way of happiness. So with this issue that we have here coming to a culmination, right? Someone is guilty, okay? Someone is guilty. And they may know that they're guilty. And I feel like they've been denying that they're guilty. And I feel like Spirit has been pushing very, very hard, for a very long time, maybe even over a year, okay? If like I said, like if you were doing this energy work last year during this series of eclipses, right? It may have been going on long before that. Whatever issue you're dealing with. And so I feel like this is someone finally admitting, yes, I'm guilty. Now, this could be a lot of different things, okay? This could be in a legal issue. This could be in a way of like when Christians, finally say, yes, I'm guilty of sin. Jesus, please save me, right? Okay. So I'm getting that feeling a little bit as well. So there may be a religious aspect to this as far as like the people involved, okay? So you may have been trying to get someone to admit their guilt, okay? And this is finally going to happen in a way that works out for everyone, right? Or maybe just the fact that they are finally at the point of accepting within themselves and outside of themselves that, yeah, I did it, right? I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. And I did it. All right. And just the fact of them finally being willing to admit the truth and live in truth, and acknowledge the truth of what has happened that maybe they did to you that wasn't so great, is a win-win in itself, for spirit, okay? And for spiritual justice. But I do feel like there is an actual legal issue here as well. Right. And, you know, this is a general reading, so take the parts that fit for you and leave the parts that don't, because they might apply for someone else. And all of these might apply to you, right? All of these different scenarios, or just parts of them, and that's okay. Okay, I think we're done with this deck now. Remember, if you get bored or this reading tends to feel a little bit long, you can always click that upper right hand corner, the little wheelie symbol, go down to playback and click that, and then up the speed to 2 times. I find it very helpful when watching videos, especially when they're longer than like 20 or 30 minutes, which I think this one's going to be, because we're working with a few extra decks here. All right. Concealment. Okay. Yeah. So I definitely feel like someone is guilty. They may have been guilty from the beginning. You knew they were guilty. You called them out on it and they denied it. And they're finally getting to the point of, yes, karmic justice, right? Finally getting to the point of admitting that, yeah, they did actually do it. And now this is bringing good fortune. Okay. Now I want to say it's good fortune for you, but I also want to say that maybe a little good fortune for them. They still have karma to pay here, but it's like, it's good fortune because it's like now that they've finally done the right thing, things can start to go in the right direction for them, right? Okay, anything else from this deck? Passion. Elixir of life on the bottom of the deck. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe you have a passion for life, or you're going to find a newfound passion for life. You're going to be able to live with a kind of passion for life that you never have before. I feel like things are going to open up for you in a way that they never have before, because maybe somehow, some way, this has been holding you back. Like, even before it ever even happened, like, just that it was like part of your destiny, and until you completed this part of your journey, then you wouldn't be able to reach the point of, you know, that passionate, you know, zest for life feeling. So yeah, that's interesting. Actually, I'm going to do this deck first. And now it's finally here. That's what I feel like, a culmination, right? The fiery climax approaches. It's like, this has been part of your destiny. This has been a planned moment in time for you and your life. And it does also prove that you are on the path that you're meant to be on. And that even though this may have been a difficult situation for you, you know, it was meant to happen. And now that it's finally happened and it's over, it's like, now you get to the good part. Yeah. So relationships, okay? I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So you are making decisions now that are for your best and highest good. And humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. It's like you are doing this intentionally, okay? You are intentionally focusing on things that are good for you, on things that make you happy, on you, okay, as well. I feel like that's important here. I feel like maybe for the first half of your life, you tried to make everyone else happy, and now things are being balanced out because you finally realize that you need to put yourself first and make yourself happy, right? Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. Okay. Maybe you are as well. Okay, this can mean so many things, right? And maybe someone else is guilty of allowing you to do that, and in some cases forcing you to do that, forcing you to put yourself last, right? To sacrifice yourself. And it's like, that's not happening anymore. Right? And also, like, you get to be the one who laughs, right? Maybe you're having the last laugh. We had our April Fool's reading, about, like, we've had some other readings about, like, who's laughing now. So I'm getting that those readings might be for you as well. And relationships. So I feel like too, you've had a lot of karmic relationships in your life. And I feel like that phase of life is behind you because you've learned the lessons that you need to learn. And so now you're going to be attracting, better relationships because you treat yourself better. And you kind of demand energetically, better treatment from those around you, and that is going to bring better people towards you. You're going to be attracting better. Okay, I'm going to put that deck away, and now we'll pull out the Alice in Wonderland deck. Alright, what do we need to know about the full moon in Libra? Okay, so King of Pentacles and Temperance. Okay. I feel like, okay, this Temperance, it's an energy of balance, okay? It's the angels, right? Maybe the angels have been helping you to bring in, to bring all of this to a head and to a close, right? And King of Pentacles, I feel like it's time, right? Temperance can also be divine timing. And it is like, it is finally your time. It is time for you to be the boss of yourself, right? Maybe to be the boss of others, okay? That's for some of you, right? Maybe you've been having it out with somebody over some kind of raise, okay, or a new job position, and you're finally winning, okay. The decision is being made, right? And this is happening right now because energetically, what is going on with the planets and the energy in the universe, right? It was meant to be. It's meant to be, and for you, maybe part of the reason that you are winning this case is because you focus on these energies, because you bother to recognize where the planets are, what the planets are doing, what the energy is, that's happening here. And it also just gives you a bit of an edge, right? When you know and understand what's coming, right? If someone's acting funny and you can say, oh yeah, well, that's probably because, we're in Mercury retrograde, and you know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. It helps gives you a little bit of insight and helps you stay on top of things. And that really, I do feel a little bit like overall, universally, that we spiritual people are going to be in charge, so to say, like that King of Pentacles boss energy, okay? But this could also just be for you, in that it's time for you to be able to be that big daddy energy where you have everything you need and you can finally help to be the one that helps others, right? You may be going from being the one in need, from being the one who gives to those in need. Yeah, I want to focus on that. Okay, let me get the other Alice in Wonderland deck out since we're on that theme. Okay, so this deck was just randomly like upside down, right? Flipped over in the deck before I even shuffled or anything. So I wonder what will happen next. Ready to adventure, precipice of change, pause before action. So I do feel like this is saying maybe think before you take the next step about what direction it is that you want to take, and maybe take a look at the planetary alignments and the energy and what is it telling you that will help you to make the decision that is best for you. But also, again, we have this fiery climax, right? This culmination, this precipice of change, this moment of like destiny, and ready to adventure. And it's like you're saying like you are ready for the next step, the next phase in your life, okay? You may be reaching some sort of milestone, like a birthday, or a birth of a child, okay? You can't go back to yesterday, be in the present. And number 44. I feel like part of the problem has been that whatever happened to you, it was very difficult for you to move on from, because, well, one, it may have still been going on, right? But two, it just, you never had any kind of closure, okay? And I feel like what's happening here is closure. You're finally getting closure on something that will allow you to leave it in the past so you can be in the present. Anything else in this deck? It says, number 36, shine bright like a candle. You will make it through this. I feel like you've already made it through this, okay? I feel like we're going from the point of past to present, from living in the past to being in the present, okay? Past, present, and future. It's like we're finally at a point where we can leave the past in the past, okay? You made it through this. Whatever this giant was in your life, you have defeated it, okay? I'm going to get a few of the double-decker oracles. And yeah, switch over to one of those decks. Okay. So we have Imagine, Wish Upon a Star, and Unfinished Symphony. The numbers 20, 39, and 10 may be significant to you, okay? So what I feel like is happening here is basically saying that, like, it's not just that your dreams or your hopes, your dreams, your imagination, whatever you can possibly imagine, is unfinished. I feel like you're just beginning. I feel like you're at a point where you are finally able to start living your dream, having, you know, dreams, you know what I mean? And that you're finally going to be able to step into this co-creation, okay? A co-creating energy with the universe. Because you're far from over. Your life is far from over. It's like your life is just beginning. It's like life begins now. What is the saying? Some people say like life begins at 40 or life begins at 50. You know what I mean? I feel very much that energy here. Our life begins when you become a parent, you know what I mean? Whatever major, like I said, whatever major milestone it is in your life. Maybe you're having your first kid, you know, go off to college, and it is you know, something like that that's going on in the energy. What else do we need to know for this pink moon in Libra? Okay, so with the Tower reverse here, I'm getting a little bit of like, possibly like a midlife crisis averted here, okay? Like crisis averted a little bit, okay, with the Tower reverse. So I feel like maybe you are at a point in your life where you're having, or where most people have a midlife crisis, or, you know, something along those lines. And then maybe some people have a midlife crisis because at some point, you know, the energy changes, the energy shifts. There's a big, you know, to do at a certain point in life that if you have not matured enough, you know, it might, where you're supposed to change, right? And if you've not matured enough, if you've not done the energy work, then it may show in how you act and react and behave, and how you know, alchemize the energy. And so I feel like those people who did the work averted, you know, that midlife crisis, so to speak. And those who didn't had, you know, a major tower, okay? Major towers for the ones who didn't do the energy work. But for those who did, you know, you had a big, like, a crisis averted. You're not having a midlife crisis. You're having a midlife renewal. You are having a midlife rebirth. You are having a new beginning, right? It's like you did the work. So you, instead of having, you know, this, your whole life fall apart, it's like you get to have a whole new life, a new beginning, something even better than before. And I do feel like Ace of Pentacles, right? This is kind of like a gift that the divine is giving you for having done the work. And it could also be money. Maybe for some of you, you've reached a point where you finally have enough money to retire, okay? And so you're going to be living your life on your terms from now on, right? Kind of thing, right? Six of Swords. It's about leaving things behind. It's about escaping, moving on to calmer waters. Maybe you have learned, maybe you've reached a point of mastery, okay, where you've learned how to, well, Six of Pentacles, right? How to balance yourself, and also how to work with others and maintain a sense of balance. Okay, and it's like you bring balance to any situation because it's like Jesus calmed the waters, right? Because you have like the Spirit of God in you. You know, you're filled with the Holy Spirit. You have wisdom and knowledge and empathy and you understand. Okay, so you take everything that you know and that you know that the divine has taught you, and you use it in a way that brings balance to yourself and those around you. And again, with this Ace of Pentacles and Six of Pentacles here, it's like Maybe you found a way to make money doing this. Or you're going to. And Two of Pentacles. So we have a lot of pentacles here. Choices, multitasking, decisions, weighing options, multiple priorities. So I feel like you have found a way to make good, balanced decisions that are going to help you in right now, but also in the future. Okay. And again, it's because you averted, right? This is your future because you averted this midlife crisis disaster type of thing, right? Okay. It's like you took something that was meant to destroy you and you turned it into something else, something better. No, I'm not talking about that either. All right, we're going to switch to this deck real quick. Actually, we'll switch to this deck. All right, Spirit, what else can you tell us about this pink moon in Libra for our collective? Already done, right? Okay, just like I said, what was it? This, you will make it through, right? Okay, that's confirmation that, like I said, it's like you already made it through. It's already done. You already made it through, okay? Okay. And it's like your days of being pitied are over, okay? Your days of being pitied are over. You are at a point now where, like, everything is turning around. If you have felt pitied your whole life, okay, it's like you're stepping into a point of confidence now, and you have every right to be, because you made it through some really tough shit and you're being rewarded, okay, for that. And it's going to show up in the real world, in the universe, okay? All right, we're going to wrap it up with this deck, I think. What else do we need to know, Spirit, about this pink moon in Libra? We have the Seven of Wands, okay? So it's like you persevered, okay? You persevered. You were able to maintain control of yourself, right? And a situation that was really chaotic, okay? You were challenged, maybe by God, but also by a situation, right? The situation, and people in it. And also you have protection, okay? You have learned how to protect yourself energetically, right? Okay, all this energy work that we've been doing, right? You've learned how to use the moon, okay? The moon cycles in order to help bring you a level of energetic protection. Maybe, we talk about spiritual warfare on here. Maybe you've learned how to do some of those things that help protect you spiritually in that way as well. Okay. Also on the bottom of the deck, we have justice, right? Okay. Libra. Justice. this is major arcana too. So it's like the divine bringing justice, right? So that maybe you don't have to defend yourself and protect yourself so much anymore, right? Maybe you had to do that for a long time, but those days are done. Those days are behind you because God is bringing balance. God is bringing justice. God is bringing fairness, right? Maybe you always had to defend yourself because things weren't fair for you, but they're going to be now. And we have the Ace of Wands. Okay, I feel like this is because you have shown a great level of willpower, okay? You have a lot of willpower. You may have held back, okay? Held yourself back from doing things that maybe you really, really, really wanted to do, but you knew it wasn't going to help you in the situation. So you shut your mouth, bit your tongue, or spoke when God told you to speak and didn't speak when you weren't supposed to, right? Like you really kind of also here stepped into your power, okay? Like I said, like learned how to use the energy to your advantage, to help you grow, to help bring truth and justice. Okay, maybe you stood your ground. Okay, that's what I'm getting here as well. You have stood your ground. You did not back down. You persevered. Okay, you persisted. You insisted that God be just and fair in this situation in a way that you could never get in the 3D courts. Okay. And that's happening. And maybe you did it for your own peace of mind. Maybe you did it because you felt like this person really needed to learn a certain lesson here that maybe God felt they needed to learn the lesson and used you to do it. Yeah, but we have the Five of Wands and the Four of Swords. But now it's like, now there's peace. Now there's peace after conflict, okay? Peace after conflict. Now we're having peace after conflict. And sometimes conflict is necessary, right? Well, what would life be if everything were always easy and sunshine and roses? If there were no storms, you know what I mean? Sometimes we need a little stirring up of the energy, but it isn't meant to last forever, right? There is supposed to be a peace, a calming of the storm, like I said here, with like Jesus in the calming of the storm. And it's like you've learned how to step into that energy too, and that's where I feel a little bit of this justice is you've learned how to balance yourself and how to control yourself and the energies around you. Right? King of Cups, maybe because you are an empath. Okay, so I'm getting that as well. Okay, so as an empath, sometimes it's very difficult to recognize what energy is yours and what is not. I feel like you have really, truly mastered this, okay? That maybe for you, that was part of the plan and the reason, right? For why you had to go through all of this. Maybe the reason for them was to learn a lesson, and the reason for you was to teach you how to control and harness your own empathic abilities. Okay? Anything else? And all of this, all these different things are all happening right now and coming to a head and an ending and a new beginning right now. And look, we have 411. That's today's date, 411. All right? Peace, relaxation, the calm after the storm, balance, okay? And information, okay? It's like you have been given so much information that you have picked up telepathically, empathically, okay? And maybe you're going to be getting a specific message. Maybe this message is from me. Maybe it's a direct message to you from Spirit, all right? But I feel like that's important here, all right? Maybe if, I feel like for some of you, you are in a point where you may not know and understand that the reason that there's so much like conflict in your life and in your energy is because you are an empath and you haven't quite learned how to harness that and how to deal with that and how to use that power and ability. Okay, and so I feel like this may be a message for you to learn how to calm the storm inside of you and outside of you, so that you can receive messages and information from Spirit, because you may be an empath and you just don't know it yet. All right, let's close this out. Okay, victory, 6 of Wands, victory, progress, self-confidence. Like I said, somewhere along the way, I believe that, you know, it's like you're stepping into your power, right? Because you're finally confident. Maybe because you finally reached a point of this King of Pentacles, right? So you found your confidence. You've bossed up. You are finally, it's like you finally put yourself on a horse, right? On a high horse that you deserve to be on. All right? This isn't like an ego-based thing, right? This is a you earned it thing. All right? And it's like now that it's like you have a whole new energy. And now you are walking in this energy and people are going to recognize it. And like I said here with the relationships, you know, you're going to start drawing in bigger and better things because of the change in your energy, the change that was made. Because 1, you averted this crisis, right? This disaster. And 2, you have figured out how, you know, you've bossed up. You've figured out how to, well, conquer life, really. I feel like that's ultimately what it comes down to. And if you haven't, then I definitely feel like you've at least begun. But I don't see a full card here, you know? I feel like you're not at the beginning of your journey, right? You're a little more experienced than that. You know a lot. You've been through a lot. This is not the beginning for you. This is somewhere like the middle or the end, or, you know what I mean? The end of one thing and the beginning of something else, a new phase. All right, anything else? Anything else? Yeah. We have the 8 of Wands, the 2 of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, and the 9 of Cups. Okay, so very quickly, okay, a decision might be being made that has been a long time coming, a long, you know, making in the works, right? That is going to bring you wish fulfillment, something that you've always wanted, right? Or something that you wanted really badly. But I'm also getting from this as well is that you are in a point now where you don't have to juggle anymore, okay? It's like slow and steady wins the race. You have been slow and steady, okay? You have been a rock. And moving forward, you know, you're going to continue in that energy and you are going to be able to follow your dreams, obtain your wish fulfillment. Like I said, you know, for some of you, there is some money coming in here, a gift from the universe, right? That maybe, like I said, you might be able to retire, right? And just live the rest of your life in this luxury and stability. But also, right, the emotions, right? You have figured out how to harness your own energy, your own emotions, your own empathic ability, but also others. Because once you know thyself, then you know others, okay? And you know yourself on a level that most people do not, right? You've been places in your own mind. I'm getting here with the Four of Swords. You have been places within your own mind that most people never get to, okay? And so this gives you a unique perspective, a unique ability, okay? And like I said, that swift change too, like change in the energy, change in your circumstances, change in the way that you are appearing, you know, to people because of the change in your energy, because you have more confidence now, and you worked hard for this. You earned this, okay? Nothing was handed to you, right? Like I said, this is not an ego based on a high horse. It's like if you are on a high horse, it's because you earned it. You worked for it. You deserve it. All right? So it's like walking with your head held high. I hope that this has helped you in some way, shape, or form. I hope, if nothing else, it has entertained you for a few moments in time, and that if you haven't already, you will like, share, and subscribe.